What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of Positively Uncensored, your favorite reality TV and interview podcast. It's your host, Leah. All right, everybody. This is like Christmas for me because I get to chat with three ladies who I have enjoyed watching so much on Love Undercover, the new Peacock series. And today I'm sitting with Renee, and I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you so much for making time.
Of course. Hello. I'm so excited to chat with you.
You're arguably the star of the show, so let's start there. First of all.
Am I?
You are.
Oh my God, thank you.
You are.
I love hearing that.
For many reasons. Like, not only were you so entertaining, but also your relationship was the strongest, and your commentary, because like your banter with Jamie and like the gossip and the back and forth, like the kikiing, the tea, it was just so, and it was so fun to watch, and your girl attitude. So I think you're a fan favorite.
Thank you. I will say that like 90% of the banter was not even included, and the funniest moments that we had were not even shown.
I believe that because the funniest moment of the entire show, there's two, and you have one of them, and it's unintentional, and it's when Jamie takes you to London, and basically you get out of the car and you notice his face on the side of the building, and you laugh, and you like kind of laugh, and it's kind of like humbling, like, and I'm like, thank you for laughing, like thank you for like you're kind of like, oh, is that your face, like we just happened to get here.
I was like, oh, did you know that you're on the side of the building?
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we would talk shit to each other nonstop, and that's part of the way that we got along so well. Yeah.
And that killed me. And the last time we saw you, I don't know what meme it is, where it's like, so last time we talked to you, you had a boyfriend, and like I think it's like the Kardashians, and and the girl's like, it's probably Kim. She's like, no, I'm not dating him anymore. But like last time we saw you, you were getting the keys to Jamie's house. You ready to get on that cow in a village.
Oh,
and so
I was getting
ready.
on those cows.
And
no, but it was beautiful. I really enjoyed it because you had the hustle and bustle of London, a 20-minute, 30-minute train ride away, and then you got to escape into like nature. And I lived with him. I moved in, and we would wake up and the birds were chirping, and you look outside and it's all green, and I really enjoyed it.
What is the romantic movie with like, I think Cameron Diaz is in it, where they like trade places, and like
The Holiday.
There we go. Okay.
It wasn't as like it's slow there, but it wasn't as like, it's a totally different village. I didn't know what villages meant. Like, clearly, I was like, people are churning butter there. I don't know. There's cows. But, yeah, it's different. There's different villages. There's like one bar in that village.
Wow.
Totally.
Okay,
Maybe
got
two,
it.
but it's an interesting way of life compared to being in London versus being in the village.
And I enjoyed it. It was really refreshing how each of you were very receptive and kind to the men at like, and like receiving to their hometowns. Like, I didn't feel like anybody, when they saw the guys like places or when they saw their countries, that they were like unkind or like judgmental. So I enjoyed how much you actually enjoyed yourself there.
I loved it. I was completely and totally in love, as crazy as that sounds. For knowing someone for such a short amount of time, but like that was my world. I didn't have my phone, and so I completely dove into it. And I don't fall in love, I don't date much, and I don't fall in love, well, let me reword that. I don't really date, but when I meet someone that I do really hit it off with, likely we're gonna become boyfriend and girlfriend, and I'm gonna fall in love.
Yes. I get that. Like, what you don't fall often, but if you do, you fall hard and fast. Yeah. I get that. So we're gonna go backwards before we get into like all of that, because I have more questions surrounding all of that. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about you first, actually. So what I decided. Yeah, what I've decided is that a lot of times on shows like this, and even like with people who have like public relationships, there's so much talk about the men, the relationship to the men, and it's like, I want to get to know you, so I want to start there.
Right? I agree. And it's like people come up, especially in a dating show, as like the couple that they are or were, when it's, hi, we're each our own person as well.
Exactly. And you have relevance outside of your partner, and that's what I that's why I love talking to people one on one, because I get to spend that extra time. So I want to first know, where are you from? Do you have siblings? Clue me into you.
Yes, I am from Calabasas, born and raised LA girl. I have two sisters. The media has mistaken my mom for my sister, which I find hilarious because my older sister is very private. And so we're like, perfect. My mom's my sister, apparently. And I have a younger sister who is just talented in every single way possible. I don't know what that girl is going to end up doing with her life, but she is just holy moly amazing. And we all come from different moms.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's
And then you
interesting.
guys are all very close still.
I'm closest with my younger sister, yeah.
Okay, got it. So your older sister's private, your youngest sister you're very close with, she's very talented, and you speak like so kindly of her. As the youngest sister, I just glowed when you said all of that stuff, because I'm imagining my older sisters talking about me
Yes.
that way. What's your youngest sister's name, if you don't mind? And if you don't
Her
want to
name is
say it, that's
Melissa.
fine too. Okay. And is she into acting? Like, what is her
I
thing?
actually
Singing?
named her.
I
So,
love
yeah.
that.
And I'm the middle child, and typically the middle child is like the crazy, weird one, and it's
Hmm.
absolutely true. She is naturally an incredible singer. She is wise beyond her years. She is analytically incredibly smart. She knows everything about politics. So it's like this girl can go any way she wants. I think the hard part for her is finding out which way she wants to go.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love hearing this. And you're so well rounded as well. I feel like you have so much context and so much depth to yourself that we really don't get to see on the show. So I want to know, like, what's something that you wish that we got to learn about you, or what's something that most people wouldn't guess about you that you would like to share?
Well, my mom did say this on camera, and it didn't make the final cut. But when Jamie met my family, he asked if there's anything he needs to know about me, and she said Renee is very misunderstood. And I think I come off a certain way at first to people, um, and I know I have a personality. Whether you either love me or hate me, I don't think there's any in between. But I would agree that I'm very misunderstood, especially with my name being public in the past. That entire story, even though it's dead, it's in the past, like, let's move on somehow. It keeps coming up. But my one final try is that whole story is painted incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
Very incorrectly. However, that has made judgment against me in such a wrong light. And so that is what I wish more people knew. But I think that this show shows a good amount of my personality, where I'm a psycho little freak, and then I'm also like a lovey-dovey girl's girl. I'll stick with you till the end as long as you don't wrong me, because if you wrong me, you're done.
And I liked learning too, and because I talked with Jacqueline and Brittany, and I sort of
Oh my
already had
girls.
loved them. I loved chatting with them. And I sort of already had this premonition watching, but it was clear to me that all of you girls were very self sufficient, very financially independent. And as far as like being a gold digger, or as far as like being a social climber, I never got that vibe from you. I very much got the vibe that you wanted an equal. And without like speaking too far into it, I think that the public forgets to pay important to like very important details. And the fact is you were in a power dynamic that you did not have the upper hand in. So I'm glad to like hear you say that like people have the wrong idea because I can sense that already, and I don't think that that's who you are.
No, and me going into this, you we're all in casting. We're told, like, they're painting an amazing. Like, this show is incredible. So of course they're painting certain pictures for each of us. And for me, I was told like top notch guys, top notch guys. I keep saying this in all my interviews, but like Prince of Spain is waiting for you, Renee. And I was like, okay, here we go. And so, of course, I'm talking about money. And of course, I'm talking about like lavish lifestyle, which I do like. So sorry to anybody who doesn't like that. I don't know what to tell you. Of course, again, I want the biggest and best. But I think that just like, that's part of the storyline that makes me misunderstood because yeah, I live in LA. I've had incredible experiences. And of course I want a partner who's going to elevate that.
And I think I think that that's a standard. And I think that, like I said, that's wanting an equal partner much, much more so than like looking for a provider. Okay. When like everyone seems like they were sort of told something different about the show. So what premise were you understanding that you were signing up for? Like elegant men, like what else?
I was signing up for the Prince of Spain. Top-notch men, could be a prince there, could be from Spain. There is no Prince of Spain, I heard.
I am dead. So what were you hoping to get from this experience then? Were you hoping it's just a shot at meeting different men, or what were you wanting?
I went on there not expecting to fall in love at all. I went on there to have fun, to meet girlfriends, to date these like gorgeous foreign men and see what happens. Never in my life would I expect to have fallen in love and moved to England out of it, to the village.
So
With
you're
the
just
cows.
open. So you're going into this and you're just open. You're open to like meeting a guy. And how many did you think going in there? How many guys did you think would be there?
I was told 5, which was accurate.
Okay, so
But
that's nice.
yeah, but I was also under the impression that it wasn't a competition show.
That's the plot twist. You get there and you see that there's other women. You're like, I thought that it was this the choice, like for me. Okay, yes. So that makes sense. You were arriving at the house, surprised there was competition. You're kind of like, okay, I thought I was picking between these 5 guys, and it's something else.
Yes, I was put into a situation. Um, but Jamie would tell me every time there were new girls coming, so I was aware. I think he was trying to be a different guy at that point,
Mm-hmm.
putting on his best face for
Mm-hmm.
the camera,
Mm-hmm.
um, and maybe trying his best to change. But anyway, he would tell me each time that there were new girls, and I wasn't worried at all. From the second we met, we clicked, and if it wasn't me, then I would go home. Like, when a certain crazy girl got there who was absolutely out of her mind, I tried to leave.
Okay, and who is that? What happened? Like,
Oh, I'm not saying her. There's no intention
okay.
in there.
Okay, got it. Because I'm like trying to figure out like what happened, and not, and like I said, not even to be like clickbaity. I just like as viewers like trying to piece on like, okay, like
If
what
you've seen
was the
episodes
dynamic?
3 and 4, you know.
Okay, I'll go back
Yeah.
with a
So
fresh
I
eye.
tried to leave, but
I think I
the
remember that. I feel like it was probably a lust, but I don't remember. I'll go back and confirm. You leave me with a good opportunity to transition though, because you're kind of talking about Jamie, like his intentions. When I talked to Jacqueline and Brittany, it was really fun to hear their sentiment on the intro because I asked them, like it's sort of it's like introduced to us as going to Los Angeles where like obviously we have the most authentic dating pool, and it's like said in a sarcastic way,
yes,
implying that some of the
hilarious.
women, yeah, like implying that some of the women were there for ulterior motives, but they felt like it was actually the men who were not there for love. And do you feel like you share the same thoughts?
Yes.
Okay.
I won't say why because I remain friends with some men on the show, but absolutely.
Okay, so you feel like between the two, like the whole time the guys are looking for red flags. They don't want someone to be after them for their money. They want someone there for love. But in reality, they're not even really, all of them at least, there for genuine marriage love.
I believe that at certain points people did form legitimate, genuine connections. So I think being all in a house together and thrown into these dates and getting to know people, that you do end up finding, if it's not love, something.
Yes.
But I don't know that the intentions going into it were that.
To find something. Okay, that's fair. And when you watch the show back and you watch how you are portrayed, do you feel like that's an accurate portrayal of yourself?
To an extent.
Okay.
Yes, I say crazy shit. However, keep in mind it's all put together in an interesting way to make it a phenomenal show. My intro is crazy.
Wait, I'm trying to remember. Like, I'm trying to remember your specific intro. What did you say that you think was crazy?
Oh God. Just between the construction worker stuff and the French flag situation.
Oh, that was hilarious.
I know. I think I'm so glad. Like, first of all, who does know what the Dutch flag looks like? Sorry. Genuinely, I still get confused.
I don't blame you, to be
Also,
honest.
my nether areas did not pop out. I was wearing underwear for once in my life.
I am dead. I am dead. Okay, so those are
sure
two
the
clarifications.
camera angle. I'm sure the camera angle saw something, but like I was wearing underwear for once in my life. Okay.
Okay, so clarified, no crotch shots, and Dutch flag. We still don't know what it is. Got it.
As Ryan explained, I think it goes this way, and the French flag is vertical. So I think I got it down.
Okay, huge. I think I still don't know, but I'm gonna think that you're right, and I'm gonna actually look that up later. I just made a note. Okay, let me see where I wanted to go next. So we just talked about the men, how the show portrayed you. So when you first meet Jamie, I'm trying to recall this.
Yeah. So me and him, I went on my date with Ryan, and then was confused by his job. So then I didn't feel a spark because I have a big personality. I need someone to match that. But let me tell you, Ryan off camera is a whole vibe.
Love that.
But immediately when I met Jamie, it was like instant
spark.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it specifically that made you attracted to Jamie? Like what? Like okay. Walk me through this then. You're in the first group of girls.
Posters. Where the women choose.
Okay.
Based on posters.
Why did me and my friends swear that you did not pick Jamie based off his poster?
I didn't.
Okay, so you didn't.
I picked Ryan.
Okay, that's the confusion.
Yes.
The confusion. Okay. Okay, this is completely adding up. Because in my head, I was like, okay, I know that Renee was there this entire time, but I also feel like she saved Jamie from being embarrassed. So I was like in my head, like, okay, how did this happen? I appreciate that clear.
Acting like that is the embarrassment.
And whoever told him, like, the audacity, basically, because that's how the women have felt this entire time. It's like, exactly. It's the irony of that.
But Seb made a very good point, and Seb has kind of advocated for us throughout this whole thing. Seb said, how do you think the women would feel if they were in this scenario? It would feel the same. They would be judged.
And you know what? You were judged anyways, because all of you were in competition, too.
And then, once he gets picked, Marco doesn't have a date, and he's all happy. And
that part.
Well, doesn't care about Marco anymore.
Doesn't care about Marco at all. Doesn't care about Marco's feelings.
Mm-mm.
Also, Jamie was a pot stirrer amongst the men. Like, he was very picky at them. And I was kind of like, I didn't like that personally as I'm watching it.
I coined the name Gossip Girl for him, and we were all calling him Gossip Girl in the house.
Okay, so that's tea because, like I said, I really convinced myself that you hadn't seen Jamie's picture. Okay, so you did. You chose Ryan.
Yes.
You and Ryan didn't click, although he's different off camera, which is fun to
Yes.
know. If you knew that all of the men shared the same jobs off the bat when you were picking, would you have picked Jamie first? Like, would you have picked any differently than Ryan?
Probably not. And
Okay.
also, I like that we didn't know their jobs. It just made for such an interesting plot and to genuinely get to know somebody. The only thing is they did lie to us from the start.
And that I had later. Okay, so I'm gonna loop it in now just because it's a good hole for it. Do you feel like them having to be dishonest at the very start of a relationship already sets it up for failure?
I get it, and I get the point of it. So I have mixed emotions about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get it. That's the whole plot of the show, and it's for a very cute and sweet reason that they want to get girls to know them for them rather than for what they have. And I also think you're kind of too good of a liar, and that kind of showed up later. I have to say, watching his interviews shows me a very good look at the real him,
Okay.
which was not presented to me when we were together,
Mm-hmm.
when we were on camera together, when we were off camera living together, when I met his family, all of the above. Watching his interviews, that makes sense. I
And by
think,
interviews, do you mean his confessionals or after the show interview?
yeah, his confessionals.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And it makes more sense. And I do think that we had a genuine connection. There's just a lot that has unfolded since that is absolutely heart shattering and really unexpected considering the connection we had, how we fell in love, how he immersed me into his life.
Yes. And like I've said before, interestingly enough, Jamie was one of the people who really was looking for red flags in other people. But what red flags were you seeing in him, and were you vocalizing those to him?
Yes, it's very clear in the show. I'm not going to give any details away, but it is nearly a copy and paste of my ex.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie just has a few
Like the
more
love bombing, right?
brain cells and
Got
like
it.
a little bit higher IQ.
Yeah, okay, completely valid. And that's what I wanted to ask about too. So when you reference like your ex and everything that came out, you ultimately end up telling Jamie about this just because he talks about public scandal, it scarred him. You're kind of coming from the other end of that. You're coming from, okay, well, I've had to share my story before. How did he receive you saying that, and do you feel like he understood you and gave you space for that?
So I initially told him, actually, we were in a scene in a jacuzzi, and they had their phones, and I said, they were looking up our Instagrams and all that, and I said, just know that if you Google me, you might see something that you don't like, but it's portrayed completely wrong, and I will explain it to you another time. And he seemed to be very understanding of where I was coming from, but then again, there's the other side of him that I found out about, and I don't know. I can't answer that for him.
Yeah. Did you feel like he at least gave you, like, did you feel heard though when you said it to him? Like, did you feel like at least you didn't feel like you were being judged and like, okay, he understands that this was valid for my situation?
Yes.
Okay, good.
During when
Okay,
he was portraying himself and his best self, yes.
got it, got it. Okay, and then there's always that duality.
I don't know. I'm just like my friends that know the ins and outs of what happened. They're now watching the show and they're like, "Holy shit, I get it now."
And I think that I wanted to ask you too, when you guys have that car conversation, the edit's really elusive as far as when Jamie makes the pussy for free comment. And it's like, is he referring to getting that from other women? Or was he trying to say that you and him sleep together regardless
Referring to
without
other women.
this? Okay, so he
And
was saying it that
and
way.
I had shared with him prior to that a few. We had shared what we'd been through a little bit with our exes, and we had a conversation of like kind of the trauma we've been through. And that is a specific thing that I told him that my ex said to me in the past when the conversation had nothing to do about money. My ex had said, I can get pussy for free. And I had shared that with Jamie. And then
Right.
he goes ahead and tells me that in the car. Also, that scene is not portrayed even properly. Like, or maybe it is, I'm making a joke, and that day he was extremely moody, and he offered his card up to me and gave me a budget to go shopping. So,
May I ask what that was?
I'm not going to share that right now.
Okay,
But
that's completely. I was just wondering if it was enough to get a bag because he specifically like makes that weird joke in the confessional, and I'm kind of like, even if she did buy a bag, what's the deal? What's the problem? Just personally.
yes, there was yeah.
Yeah,
That conversation is interesting. He was very moody that day, and
I can tell.
that comment really triggered me in a
I
very deep way.
I'm very sorry that you had to like have that triggering experience and kind of like sort through this is bringing up stuff. I don't really know how to respond to you. I'm on my way to lunch now. And then I felt for you as well too, because he was on his way to work. You guys had to part ways. There was really no way to even like talk about that any further. You know what I mean? Like it was just like immediately going separate ways and tabling that discussion.
We had a second to chat, and
Okay.
yeah, no, and I was like, "You're in a mood today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you get moody?" And he said yes.
Okay.
So,
Got it. Got it. So, self-awareness. Okay, there we go. Um, when we fast forward, because I know we have a time for a couple of other questions, and this one was important for me to talk about. If you feel comfortable, have the space. But when Jamie ultimately brings up the discussion of his divorce, it seems like, and I was really proud of you. It seems like you saw through what was being told to you and then what it meant, because I've never seen someone respond and say, so you're referring to allegations, and it's almost like your history or whatever you've dealt with, like you were able to know like this, he's saying one thing and it really means another, and so you opened that line of questioning. And do you feel like he fully informed you? Like, how long was that conversation of the like of what was out there? Like, did he prepare you? Because that's what he says. I want to prepare Renee for what she's getting herself into. So did he do that?
I would say that me putting so much trust into him kind of blinded me from the truth a little bit.
Got it.
And that conversation was very quick. And I was kind of taken aback. We sat down and he pulled out his phone and was like, I have whatever he said, and was going to present it to me. And I can't judge because I have things on me that look really bad as well that aren't necessarily the truth. And so at that point, I really trusted in him and I really
Right.
loved him. And so who am I to say, like, I don't want to know that about my man
You
at the
gave him the
time.
benefit of the doubt,
Yeah,
sort
and I
of.
said as long as your reputation is fixed and and you aren't that anymore, um, then let's take it one step at a time. Like I have shit against me that's not true on the internet too. So I
Right.
wasn't somebody to judge in there. When I did find out what they are, it's bad.
And you felt differently, correct or not correct?
After what ended up happening, yes. It makes me sad, and it makes me sad for us, and it makes me sad for the audience as well, because we are a love story. Like that's what happened, and that was my reality. And I moved in with him. I met his whole family. Like I don't get how
And
you can do this to somebody, but
yeah.
I mean, I feel sad for everybody in this because I truly, truly was so in love and heartbroken with the way that things unfolded and information that I found out. And I'm also really sad that we don't get to continue our story because
Mm-hmm.
he was my person.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shocked. On reveal night, I had the thought I would go through my ex all over again just to get to this man.
Wow.
So,
Wow. You really loved him.
yes.
So, where do things stand now, and what did you learn from this experience? Let's end here. We'll end with like both of those in one if we can.
Um, I've tried to be the bigger person and reach out, and very dismissive. We don't talk.
Okay. So, no communication anymore. And as far as learning about what do you feel like you've taken away from this experience?
To really get to know somebody.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And you can take a second too. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's so hard to like mourn the past and grieve a relationship, especially too when you have been watching it back recently. So I
Exactly.
like, exactly. And I like really appreciate you even talking with me and being so vulnerable. I think that this is important to acknowledge that this was your real life. This was your real feelings. Your you really gave up where you were living to pursue something that you believed in, someone who you believed in. And I think that anybody who has had the wrong impression of you should know that your heart was truly in it for good reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad.
And I definitely want to know too. This will be more positive. We'll end here that way. It's more positive. Who do you talk to, and what girls have you been able to like keep close around you to like feel good, hang out with? Like who's uplifting each other?
Jacqueline has been my wife since day one. Um, Love her to death. The final girls that made it to the end, we've gotten really close because it's a special bond that you cannot share with anybody else or even explain, like even specific to this show.
Yes.
I adore like Abby, Ariana, Brittany, my God, as I got to know her, I love her. Abby's the sweetest. Sophia Q, my God, that girl is hilarious. I'm just obsessed with all of them. Even Courtney, the one who went on a date with Jamie,
Oh my
I
God.
absolutely adore her.
Okay, I
Yeah.
love that for you. You're such a
Yeah.
girl's girl. You deserve all of the support. I'm
Oh, girls
so
first. Girls
You
always come
are.
first.
I can tell. And I want everyone to know where they can follow you. Where can people support you, send you some love?
You can find me, same handle on both Instagram and TikTok. It's at Renee period Ash.
At Renee Ash. Go follow her, give her her flowers. And thank you so, so much for making time for me. Thank you for sharing
Thank
your
you.
heart and being vulnerable.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. I I love every single one of you listening. If you're new here, welcome. My recaps are frequent. They are often. I try to do them consistently right after everything's put out. So follow, subscribe, leave a review if you're new here. And if you enjoyed the podcast, rate it 5 stars if you loved it, if you love me. And then I'll see you guys for my next episode.